to the Hooked on Needles podcast. My name is Maricela, or Mari if you prefer, and this is episode 14. I had talked to you guys last time that I was going to try and possibly make a video every week this month, since it has been a year since I started making these videos. I don't exactly remember what day in August, but I do remember that it was in August that I started making them. So here I am. I don't have a lot to show you guys, honestly. It's been a week. It's been busy and a little crazy. So yeah. I want to start off with works in progress. The future, is it? Oh gosh, I don't remember the name of it. Future, I think it's just Future Shawl. No touching it. It's just here. Just sitting there beautifully, looking precious in this little yarn ball cake thing. This thing, I don't know if you can tell when I'm frustrated, right? I'm like, oh, this thing, oh, whatever. I'm going to try to change my attitude. This wonderful top for my daughter also has got no love. I may have done 2 rows on it, possibly. Can't promise that happened. It's also just been sitting here lovely with the other cake. Yeah. And no frustration. Try not to be frustrated. It's very hard. The baby blanket that I was making for my friend whose baby shower is this Saturday. 4 days away, guys. 4 days away. I ended up ripping it out at least 4 more times. And then I was talking to my sister because I had already ripped it out, like I said, 2 times. And she was like, well, maybe it's the color. Maybe it's the color of the yarn. It's just too busy. And your stitches or your patterns are getting lost. And I was like, you're right. Maybe it is. So I went on looking through some books that I have of like baby knits and stuff. And I came across this beautiful crocheted cable pattern. And it was in a brown that was very similar to something that I had in my yarn stash. So I was like, oh, I could totally do that. So I started it. It was coming out pretty okay until, like, I thought I was doing fine. Let me say that. I was fine. I was like, let me do this. It was a 12-row repeat. I was midway through repeat number 2. And I was like, oh, I should measure this and see how long it is so that I know how many repeats I'm going to do. So I lay it flat. I go to measure. And then I realize that I had messed up. I was not really paying too much attention to how my cables were crossing. So I ended up having some going this way and others going this way. Well, in cables, they should all be going the same way, right? I was so angry. Like where your yarn crosses, it should always that same spot should always be in the back or in the front. It wasn't always in the back. Sometimes it was in the front. I was so angry and frustrated. So I ripped it all out. This was Sunday night, I think. Or maybe Monday morning. One of those two. It's a blur. Anyways, Monday, for sure, Monday, I was like, okay, I need to figure something else out. I was like, maybe I am just overthinking it. I just need something simple. So I decided to do a double seed stitch. But I did end up changing the yarn to the brown. So that is what I have been doing. Double seed stitch. It is 100% acrylic. It is Red Heart Super Saver in the color Cafe Latte. And that's what it's going to be. I'm not going to have it finished by Saturday. I know that. So now the plan is that I will be making this, hopefully done with it by the time she has the baby, which I think is in like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe. So I'm just going to be doing maybe like 10 rows a day, and hopefully it'll grow and keep going, because this was me for the past 2 days trying to work on it every time I had a chance, including carpool. So I also don't want my hands to cramp up. So I am not, well, yeah, like I knit on it as much as I think I can, and then I'm like, oh, gotta put it down because my fingers, you know. Sorry, gotta crack them. It's bad, right? It's so bad. Anyways, I've been using the ChiaoGoo US 10 or 6mm. And instead of doing a big circular, I've just been going back and forth. I ended up connecting 2 cables here to make it long enough. So I will have that finished by the time the baby comes, let's hope. And that's everything I've been working. Oh no, I lied. Oh, I'm such a liar. Because I got so frustrated with the blanket and the fact that I was going nowhere, I decided to pull this little beautiful, beautiful bag out. So beautiful. And then I got the yarn that he sent me. John. Thank you, John. He sent me this yarn. I love it. I totally love it. It is beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. Okay. So he sent it for the purpose of me making socks out of it. Which honestly, I saw it, feel it, and I'm like, do I really want to make this socks? Don't I want to wear this next to my skin? Yes, I do. But he sent it for the socks, so I'm going to make socks out of them. Now, this is the big skein. And then this is the little skein. So it's black, a gold, and a deep blue. Now, when I see these colors, all I think is Hogwarts. Because I'm thinking of the black in Hufflepuff, of the gold in Gryffindor, and the blue in Ravenclaw. So, I named these my No Slytherin Here socks. I am doing Hermione's everyday socks because I feel like I may have been the only person in the entire universe who had not made them yet. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm doing 2 at a time, which I have tried to do 2 at a time before. And I was very unsuccessful. I would just get frustrated. I get very frustrated having to fidget with the cable, right? Like, I don't know. It was just, I get frustrated. So, when I met up with Cody, he was doing 2 at a time. So, seeing how he was doing 2 at a time, sorry, I got too close. Seeing how he was doing 2 at a time, really inspired me into stick to it this time. So I am doing 2 at a time. I have totally made the rookie mistake and have knit all the way across and then had to tink all the way back at least 2 times because I forget you got to change your yarn. I don't remember where I saw this, but somewhere out there in the interwebs, someone said to put a button to divide your yarn. Now I did this, but then something was up with my hank or something and it got super tangled right here. So I hope I don't have to cut the yarn, but look at this. It's like, eek. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Anyway, so far it's working out okay. I guess once I can't move the yarn anymore, I will really focus on what's happening there. But as of right now, everything is still going okay, so I'm just going to leave it and do that. So I did start these, like I said, to get my mind off of the blanket situation, which hopefully now is sorted. I refuse to rip back now. My daughter was like, "You said that 2 blankets ago." I was like, I know I said that. But this time for real, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be simple double seed stitch blanket. It will be beautiful and she will love it. I know it. Anyways, so that is all I have for today with that type of yarny stuff. Well, kind of. This I'm ashamed to show you. My sisters they're the ones in charge. I've just done minor little things with the baby shower. They wanted me to be a little more involved, have a little bit of to, not feel like I wasn't doing something for the baby shower, feeling included. So they were like, my older sister was like, "Hey, we need you to make some fish. We need you to crochet some fish." And I was like, okay, I could totally do that. I'll just look up a pattern or something. If not, I'll make it up. I can make stuff up. That's fine. That's not what she meant. Then they're like, "We mean little swimmers." And I have kids, so I was like diapers? That's what I was thinking, right? Like little swimmers, like from Huggies or whatever. No, they meant these. If you have kids, I'm so sorry. Just tell them they're balloons. They requested 5 balloons. So apparently they're going to use these in a game at the baby shower. First of all, I did not use a pattern, not even for balloons, which I'm pretty sure I could have found. I just did it. I can't believe I did it. But I did it. So I'm sorry, you guys, if you're disappointed in me because I made swimmers. But they asked and I was like, whatever, I'll do them. And I honestly didn't want to. My sister was bugging me this morning. She was like, "Are you done? Are you done with the swimmers?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. Get off my back." So I decided to do them. And yeah. So that happened. Okay, that really is all of the stuff that I have done today or this week. Oh, no, it's not. I was totally lying to you. I have other stuff. What's wrong with me? I have other stuff. I have Karen from SSK Yarners is doing a hat drive for veterans, and she does this every year. I don't know how long she's been doing it. I know she did it last year, and she's doing it this year. So she's having a little hat drive, and like I've mentioned before, we're going to be meeting up at the Georgia Fiber Fest in September. So she's asked for us to take a hat if we would like. So I made one, just using double strands of the same yarn, and this is Hobby Lobby's yarn. I love this yarn. And yeah, so made that hat, and then Karen released her Truly Scrappy hat, I think it's what it's called. And it is a free Ravelry download, and she uses, I think, 3 or 4 different strands of yarn to make a hat. So I had bulky because I feel like that's what it would make. And I made this one. And I made this one. And the decreasing is so nice. Look at that. So I have made those 3. And again, I made those just because I needed to get my head away from that dang blanket. And then, last week when I was editing, I was knitting and editing. So I went ahead and finished my Echo Beach socks. Also inspired by the SSK Yarners, Sharon. She knit these, and I was like, I gotta have me a pair. So I do, even though actually these are not going to be mine. These will be going to my niece for Christmas, because after trying them on, I realized that they are quite snug and are pulling. The stitches are pulling a lot, like stretching out a lot. And so I don't want to do that. I don't want to end up stretching them out. And even if I block them, I feel like they would still not, like they're not going to be as stretchy. So these will be going to my niece. But I know she's gonna love them, so it's fine, and I will end up making myself a pair. And for that one, I used this yarn, and it is color 67. So yeah, I really like the color of the yarn, and I really enjoyed the stitch pattern. So there is a possibility that there might be some for me in the future, because I really did enjoy working with that yarn too. It was really, really nice. So yeah, but that's done too. So woohoo. And that makes me happy too, because, you know, making my slow stack of Christmas presents is gonna grow. Okay, so that's all I have for real now this time. And there is something else I wanted to show you guys. I was talking to Megan of the Toe Creations podcast. We were chatting on Instagram one night, and we were talking about not all of them, but you know, a couple of failures that sometimes we don't show on the podcast. Not because we don't want you guys to know, but just because we're like, who would be interested in seeing our horrible failures? So that got me thinking. And since I know that I'm not going to have a lot to show you guys, I decided I will show you my failures. So I made this. You can see, okay, I don't know, maybe it's just because I crochet, right? Like, you can see that thing, but it goes all over. Like, it's crocheted in the round, so it goes up. First of all, I made this not long enough, and thick. It's worsted weight. I don't live in the Arctic. Like, maybe this is how I should wear it, but even then, it's cutting off circulation. It's super, super tight. Oh my gosh. It's super tight. Like, I'm not even kidding you. It's super tight. It's supposed to be a cowl. But like I said, maybe I'll just wear it like this. And go out. Milk the goats and everything in the middle of winter. I don't have goats. I was just kidding. But I mean, if you need something, you can message me. I'll send it to you if you do have to go milk the goats in the winter. Gosh, why did I do this? I don't know what I was thinking. The sad thing is that when I thought about doing this, I knew just where to go because I apparently have my bin of failure. So that was in there. This was in there. Do you see? Do you see the mistake? Pattern. No pattern. Pattern. No pattern. That, and also look at my stitches. They're a little angled. Do you see that? Oh, this was winter of 2015 failure. This was summer of 2016 failure. Why would I do that? In California, you guys. I was in California crocheting that. What is wrong with me? Now, I don't remember if I did this or not, but I wouldn't put it past me that I've shown you this before. And I probably said I made this for a friend's kid. Lie, first of all. I don't think I did. I think I wanted this to be an adult hat. And failed. Although now it will be going to a friend's kid, which will be that baby that is going to be born, because I don't know anybody else who's got a tiny head. So, yeah. And then this I made for my niece, or it was supposed to be. But it's super tight for an adult. I mean, you can squeeze in there, but it's not as big as I wanted it to be. Fail. And then we go from small to this thing. Look at this. This was supposed to be a bulky hat, bulky semi-slouchy hat. This is not what it is. Who's gonna wear this? I mean, you could kind of wear it still as a slouchy, but then you still gotta put like hairpins in here so it doesn't move, because otherwise you're just dancing. You're just dancing inside of the hat. Like, at least I put a pretty pom-pom on there. Failure. And then it was knit flat. So look at that beautiful seaming knot. Can you see that? Oh, you probably can't. I don't even know. But, like, the seaming is horrible. Fail. Fail, fail, fail is all I have to say. I mean, look at that. Okay, maybe if I put it on, you can see the failed seam. Can you see that? Okay. Failure. And then there's this guy. Now, I made him for my son. We were getting too far into this episode without me trying to get some kind of fiber out of my mouth. Okay, anyways. I made this guy for my son because when my daughter was little, well, she still has him, but when she was little, we got her a little giraffe. she named him Jeffrey. So I made my son a little giraffe. Yes, it's sad. His name is Joffrey. My son named him. He does not watch Game of Thrones. This was before we, even Game of Thrones came out. But look at the droopy neck and his lack of another horn. What happened to your horn, Joffrey? Oh, that's right. I didn't sew it in right. So, look at him. He's droopy and sad because I didn't sew his horn on correctly, and then he's just droopy. But my kids love me enough to where he sleeps with this thing. He carries it around. My sister jokes and is like, I'm taking your giraffe. And he's like, you can't have my Joffrey. So at least I know he loves them that much. And yeah, I think just my sewing skills were lacking. But I mean, it is a cute little fella. And then I think this is the one that I am the most embarrassed about, sad. I can't believe I did this type thing. So, as you know, I've mentioned before, we like Ghibli films. I think there may be 2 Ghibli movies that we don't like. Maybe. Anyways, one of our favorites, of course, is Totoro. This is the back of Totoro. He's not too bad looking, right? Look away. Look away if you're scared. It's okay. I'm scared. Why would I do this to Totoro? Poor Totoro. I mean, he's got pony bead eyes. Because this was before I knew there were such thing as safety eyes in my amigurumi life. Ugh, he looks like an owl. Let's just say it, okay? He's an owl Totoro. And he is my daughter's. And I went to get him from her room yesterday, expecting him to be, somewhere put away where she doesn't want to see it. And no, she was hugging him, sleeping with him, or about to go to sleep with him. And I was like, hey, I need your Totoro. And she was like, but why? I sleep with him. And I was like, because I'm trying to get all my failures together, okay? And then she's like, oh, do I need to be down there? It's like, you're not a failure, woman. Anyways, I was like, no, I just need your Totoro. And she's like, oh, but I sleep with him. Can you just get him tomorrow? Like, fine. So, she sleeps with this thing. How? How does she sleep with this thing? Tell me this thing doesn't scare you. I think you're lying. Oh my goodness. Poor Totoro. Oh, I can't believe I did that. It makes me sad. It's just so sad. Poor Totoro. Anyways, I just wanted to share my failures with you so you can see that sometimes that's how you learn. You learn to really sew stuff on. You learn that sometimes you gotta, just start over completely. Because it's just not working. And maybe you should check that you're following the pattern. Just saying, mark it. Mark when you've done a row and make sure you're doing the right row. And make sure that you have, come on, think about what you're doing. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this, you guys. And like I said, I had all this in one bin, except for these guys, because my kids love me and They love these things. So, yeah. Oh, one more. I have one more failure. So I made this. It's a top. Or it's supposed to be a top. Was it boat neck top? It's supposed to be for my daughter. Or it was supposed to be for my daughter. It fits me. My daughter and I are not the same size. She is a cute 14-year-old teenager. I am not. So, yeah, we don't have the same body shape or anything. So, yeah, this was my failure. And I do want to make another one for her that will fit her. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, if I do that, I have to donate this. Because I really don't want to be wearing the same thing that my 14-year-old is wearing. And I keep saying 14-year-old. She's not 14 yet. She'll be 14 in September. Anywho, that's my episode for today, guys. Full of failures, and it's okay. Persevere, learn from it, see what you got to change, what you got to do, and you know, may take 1 or 2 tries, or 50 tries, or 45 tries. You know, I said 50, didn't I? 45 is less than 50, whatever. Pretend I said, or 100 tries, guys, because I'm telling you, sometimes your mind also needs a break from stuff. So go read a book, which I should totally do, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but reading is not my cup of tea at all. I read to my children. I am a great, 5th grade level reader. But yeah, I mean, I wish I would read more. I really do. So maybe that could be something I do, when I do need a break. Anyways. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for coming back. If you came back. If you decided to give this little thing a try today, I'm sorry that you saw my failures, but I hope it does inspire you to not give up and keep trying. I will say, please give me a thumbs up and click the little thumbs up button down there, and subscribe if you would like to see more episodes of my crazy things that I do. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And hopefully see you next week. Hasta la próxima.